everyone. Welcome to the show. I am Leah Hinton, and this is a chat with friends singing through fear. All right, I am a singer, songwriter, artist, and confidence and voice and mindfulness coach. And I have a special guest here with us today. So let's introduce Tevin Price. Hi, Tevin.
Hi, Leah.
You are just too cool for
La
school.
la la Leah. La 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 Leah. What's up, Leah?
You're too cool for school today.
Am
What's
I?
going on? How are you?
I'm awesome, Leah. How are you doing?
Doing great.
Oh God, look at you, all grown up and stuff.
I know, right? You too.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I think that's a compliment because no, it's not
Mm-hmm.
a compliment because adulthood sucks. So no, take me back. Take me back.
It can suck, but it also can be very nice
Oh, well, bless your heart, Leah. For the rest of us,
for
send us.
the rest of us. You gotta see it from all angles. You gotta accept the good,
That's awesome.
and you work through the other parts.
That's true. You got that right because we working through it.
Yeah, you gotta
We
work.
working through it.
Uh-huh, uh-huh. What's going on, Tevin?
Life, you know.
Yes.
I've never done one of these before, so I feel like a virgin.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
No, I'm well though. I'm well. Like you said, I really am living life in a
Mm-hmm.
good place and just taking it day by day. You know.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm well though. Yourself, you looking well.
Excellent. Excellent. Yeah, I'm doing very well as well.
That's
I'm well as
awesome.
well. Thank you for joining us today.
It's good to be here. It's really
Yeah.
good to be here.
Hmm.
Um, I'm very excited.
Me too.
I
Me
don't know
too.
what's about to happen, but
I
I'm very
mean, I'm
excited.
just excited. I'm always excited about this conversation, number one. And then two, I'm just so excited that, I get to reconnect with friends and, just have some time to enjoy each other.
Oh, well, that's
Yeah.
special. You know what popped up on my Facebook memory not too long ago was a video of us in college, and you were feeding me some medicine when I was sick in my
I
dorm.
remember
You were feeding me
I
medicine.
remember that. I remember that day. Yeah, you were sick, you were in your dorm.
Uh
And I was
huh.
like, well, let me just get some medicine. I think you already had the medicine, right?
I did, and I no, you brought it. You brought
I
it.
I brought the medicine.
You brought the medicine, and I felt so loved and spoiled, and I felt like the man. See, people get you somebody that's gonna bring you some medicine. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I've been a mom all my life. That's just what it is. I just love to care for people. Okay, so we're gonna hop right in here. I like to start with this question, and then we'll kind of, go where it leads. Okay. So first question is, what is your relationship to fears in singing?
I think fear has always been present for singers or any person who stands on stage and performs. Um, because unlike like basketball and stuff like that, our gifts are internal, and so we can't go out and change it if you don't like it. You know what I mean? Like if you don't like an actor, they can switch it up and try a different style, or if you don't like a fashion designer, they can make you something. But for us, it's like it's inside of us, and we can't change it if you don't like it. And so we take those I don't likes very hard, and it causes fear, because we have this notion to please everybody with what we have, and the minute we hear someone say, could have been better, or I don't like it, we are then we're led on the journey of people pleasing, trying to do things to people please. And
Right.
fear takes its place when you fail to please everybody or believe you're going to fail, period. And so fear and I have a real heavy, long-standing relationship,
Mm,
unfortunately, because from the time I began singing, I felt that little motherfucker, you know.
Tevin, this is a family show.
You should have put that in email.
Oh my goodness. Family show. My
No, no,
apologies.
I'm sorry, but yeah, fear has been present. So I definitely know. I'm trying to think of a moment where I've actually let fear win. It's present, but I try not to let it win. You know, I try not to let it force me to not do something that I know I'm supposed to be doing. Um, because yeah, I'll stay there.
No, that's good. That's good because I think that's always the challenge. Like fear obviously is present. Like we know we can feel the fear,
Yeah,
but are we going to, you know, hold us and keep us bound, or are we going to just try to push through and kind of overcome? Yeah,
right.
that's really good. So when you're performing, I'll say more recently, like coming back to fast forward to today, these days, when you're performing, how are you able to even just talk to yourself and talk your way through it? How are you able to sing through the fear?
That's the strange thing is once I start, the music. Once I get on stage, that it goes away because now I've already beat you because I'm here,
Mm,
and so
mm-hmm,
now it becomes more of a it's either a nervousness or a confidence, and that all stems from preparation. So if you're prepared with what you're doing, what you're performing, then the confidence spikes once you start, because you're in your groove. But if you're not prepared, then that's when the nerves kick in because you don't know what's about to happen, or you can't anticipate the next move, or you're focused on what note you're trying to hit. But if you are prepared, I think that is the the kryptonite for fear is preparation. Because I've prepared for this, I'm ready for this, and I don't want to mistake fear for nerves because um, nerves are very very natural, but fear is something that has been placed in us over years and years. But nerves, that's something that just comes because you say that, okay, I'm good, but I'm not perfect, so the nerves are there. But fear is something that says uh you really aren't supposed to be here, or you can't do this, or you're going to fail.
mm,
And that's not something that should be in us, but it is in many of us.
mm,
Yeah.
mm-hmm,
If that
mm-hmm.
makes sense. Was I rambling? I don't know.
No, that was really good. What you said about you already beat the fear because you're there on the stage. And I think that's so good. I mean, that's half the battle, just getting there,
Exactly.
getting to whatever you are fearing, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Get there, get there. You got to get there. Just keep pushing yourself, because the closer you get to it, the more fearful you're going to get. But keep
Mm-hmm.
going. Keep walking to the stage, get behind the microphone, let the music start, take your first breath, and then go. And then there it is.
Mm-hmm. And so once you've accomplished that, you don't feel any more fears or anything.
No. Mm-mm. I begin to feel home. I begin to feel balanced. I begin to feel whole, like, because when you're supposed to be on stage, you know where home is. Give me that light, give me the lights, the camera, the action, the good music, and it's time to go. And so once I'm in that groove, it's like bliss. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's good. And
Yeah.
so with preparing, how can you prepare for things that you can't necessarily prepare for? So I'll say not
Ooh.
speaking about your song and your stage presence and things like that, but let's say it's at some location you've never been at,
Mhm.
right? You don't really know the layout. Maybe there's some movement that you have to do that
Right.
you have only been able to prepare at whatever location you practiced at. And, things like that. Maybe technology fails in some way, things like that. How do you prepare mentally for that?
Well, first off, don't get me started with preparing for things that are like the worst, because I feel like that's part of my natural nature to prepare for things from the worst case scenario to the best case scenario.
Mm,
And speaking with my therapist, I know it's not the best thing to do, but
interesting.
for me, it's like it's my way of controlling my emotions, controlling my what little bit of control that I have with my reaction.
Mm-hmm.
If I prepare for the worst and the worst does in fact happen, I'm a little more composed and I'm a little more, ready or focused to handle
Mm-hmm.
it because I've quote unquote seen it and mentally prepared for it. But
Mm-hmm.
those things that happen on stage, that the mic goes out, or you forget the words to a song, that's just part of being human and a part of the performing experience. And it's up to you in those moments to decide what type of experience we're going to have now. So
Mm-hmm.
if you forget the words, what you're going to do? You're going to ad lib. You're going to stop the song and start it over again. And like I said, it's up to you to determine what experience we're going to have. If you're going to laugh it off and we're all going to just stay in this moment of embarrassment together, and then hopefully get to the next part, then
Mm-hmm.
be that as it may. So I mean, I think those moments you really can't fully prepare for, because like I said, we're never fully in control of life.
Right.
But yeah, you just got to take it and run with it.
Mm-hmm.
I know when I was younger and things used to happen, I'd get so mad at myself. I'd beat myself up, and I still do to this day, especially if it comes to something like forgetting lyrics. But
Mm-hmm.
like those other things that happen when the sound goes out, I kind of enjoy those moments because it gives me there's a moment of gratification that says, I can do this without the mic, and this ain't no track singing. See who I really am without all the amps and the
Mm-hmm.
lights and stuff. It kind of gives me that moment to show you, hey, I really am about this life. I can really do it. And so
Mm-hmm.
some of those moments that happen where they aren't too catastrophic, I'm cool with. I kind of look forward to them sometimes.
Now, but what would you say to people who really are challenged with that? And I'll say specifically like mindset. Like, how do you tell your mind, okay, don't freak out? Like, we're gonna be okay in moments like that.
How do I tell it?
Uh-huh.
I don't want to be embarrassed. I
Uh-huh.
don't want to feel embarrassed. And so I guess my natural instinct is to make sure this is cool, even trying to turn the awkward moment into a cool moment because, hey, we're here together. But that's just me and how I cope with things like that. But
Mm-hmm.
I would try to just give yourself grace,
Mm-hmm.
especially if it's not your fault.
Mm-hmm.
Give yourself grace and just live in the moment and take it as experience,
Mm-hmm.
because you don't know what you're going to do until it actually happens. And then
Mm-hmm.
the next time it happens, you can think back, oh, well, I did it this time. This happened last time. So I did it. So welcome those moments and learn from them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And what if it is their fault? I don't want to make it heavy, but
Maybe if it's
it's
your
just a
fault,
mistake.
then you're for me, when I know it's my fault, because I know that I could have probably studied it a little longer. I should have started earlier. I'm
Mm-hmm.
hard on myself. I'm
Mm-hmm.
very, very hard on myself, which is why I try so hard to not get to that place and try so hard on my preparation.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but if it is your fault, and it happens regularly, you've got to really ask yourself, what are you doing? What are you doing? And challenge yourself to be better. Like if you are forgetting your lyrics at every performance, you got some things to work on. So are we carrying a music state? Are we carrying a music stand on stage with you? Or are you going to spend more time in preparation? Is it your nerves that cause you to forget? Because forgetting the lyrics, are it's it's a hit and miss sometimes because you
Mm-hmm.
can be so ready,
Yeah.
and then you got some of these places like churches. They have these confidence monitors
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
where they put the
I
words
love
on the
that
screen in
name.
front of you, and I love them. But sometimes you get too comfortable, and sometimes them jokers don't turn fast enough, and the beat is already we already in the song, and I'm like, come
Right.
on now,
Right.
so it's all in the
Right.
preparation,
Yeah.
and once you take time to say, I am not going to be that artist that does this, I'm not going to be that artist that does this. It's
Yeah.
all in the preparation. Even when there are bad vocal moments, I mean, we're human. And
Mm-hmm.
like I said, aside from instrumentalists, because singers are musicians, so aside from instrumentalists, our instrument is internal, and so we're going to have those moments where we can't hit the note as accurately as we want to hit it, or we're
Right.
going to crack, when we sing a certain note, because it just happens naturally sometimes in our voices. And the little bit of dust, heat, wind, pollen, smoke, cigarette smoke can affect how we sound. And I think we have to be mature enough to give ourselves grace that it's not always going to be perfect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally, totally. And that was something I had to really look at myself at as well, as far as lyrics, because I'm infamous for forgetting a lyric.
But I mean,
And huh?
I've never seen you forget a lyric,
Oh,
but
I
it's also for, and I'm not trying to box you in, a jazz singer, to have music on stage. So I mean, it's not terrible.
I don't see a
But
lot of jazz
you can
singers
have
with
a
music.
you can have music on, like I've seen a few artists have some jazz sheet music in front of them.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, that all goes to the experience you want us to have. So if you want us
It
to see
does. It
this
definitely
mic there in front of
does.
you, then cool, we'll see it. Um,
Right.
but yeah, I don't think I've ever seen you.
You may not have seen it, but it's definitely happened a lot. And I don't like to have lyrics on stage, but I
Neither,
know
neither, yeah.
if it's something that I'm not, if I know I'm not going to have enough time, let's say someone call me for something next week, I know I'm not going to have as much time to prepare,
Yeah.
then I may bring lyrics up there, maybe, a tablet or something, but I generally don't like to have lyrics on stage. And therefore I may forget some lyrics. And in that case, I think it's a little easier with jazz because you can kind of improvise, and that kind of just
Wee wee wee
goes,
wee wee
it
wee
just kind
wee
of
wee.
goes with it.
Wee wee wee. Y'all be pulling out
It
words that
just
don't
kind of goes
exist,
with
talking about,
it.
oh, this is
So
music.
it happens. It definitely happens.
And
But
all of
I
it is
know there
acceptable
was a
because it is jazz.
exactly, exactly. But I know there was a point where I was just, it just seemed like every show I was forgetting like a lot of lyrics. And I was like, man, like Leah, what's going on? And I really like allow myself to believe that I wasn't able to memorize enough. And I was like, okay, let me just take more time on the music. So I went back, just blaming it on getting older, blaming it on not having enough time and whatever. But when I really was like, let me just sit down and make sure from as soon as I get the call to this performance, I'm just really gonna dig deeper and really dig into the lyrics and memorizing everything. And I was like, yeah, it was a complete 180, and it's amazing how you can believe lies. It's amazing how you can just like tell yourself, oh, I can't do that.
Right.
I'm getting older. My brain doesn't work as it did in college. I don't have the storage space. And it's like, no, just take your time, spend the time, and believe you can do it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's crazy. So yeah, lyrics can be interesting. They can be interesting.
Especially if you don't like the music.
If you
Um,
don't like the music,
don't like the music. That is the worst. Trying to learn music that you don't
that
like
definitely,
is
yeah.
horrible. It's just so strainy, and especially if it has a lot of lyrics, you're like, oh hell, like
Yes, if there's a lot of lyrics, you're
oh my
like, ooh.
god, that's the worst. That's the
Mm-hmm.
worst.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Has there ever been a time where you shocked yourself on stage? Like something that you didn't quite believe could happen and it happened. More in a positive way.
Okay. Um, yeah, a few times.
Uh-huh.
Trying to think. I do know. I'm trying to think of the best story. I guess I want to go to when I was younger, singing in church. This is one time I don't. I think it was something about the blood song, and it was my first time. When you're in church, they give you the mic, you stand in one spot. I had begun to walk around the church singing during this song, and it was the first time I did it. I remember thinking, what you doing? like what you doing? I'm moving and walking, but I just realized that this was part of it. This was part of singing, and I felt so good that I
Mm-hmm.
just started to move and to walk the stage, travel the stage. I even
Mm-hmm.
walk down some steps to the crowd, and so my first taste of being a quote unquote performer on the
Mm-hmm.
stage,
Mm-hmm.
and really utilizing the talent that I have of performing. And so that part was huge for me because I got to decide when that kind of turned on in different performances. How am I going to? Because every song doesn't require every type of performance. Like
Mm-hmm.
you shouldn't be moving on or dancing on every song. So what are you going to do on this song? So I start begin to challenge myself of creating an experience with each song. Um, so that moment was big for me because it kind of opened my eyes to my artistry in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's good. Yeah. Love moments like that. And yeah, right?
Yes, your response.
Going
That's
back to
good.
that's good. Going back to those confidence monitors, right?
Yeah.
Um, do you feel like on stage you are the same person off stage? On stage and off stage?
In what regard though? Like lyrically or
No, just your person, your character, your
oh,
confidence, especially your confidence.
yeah, so I'm gonna be me everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if I'm the one holding the mic, and I'm actually the one that's in front and not background.
Mm-hmm.
I am gonna be me. And that does involve, some humor, that involves some wit, that involves some a holeness that I like to say.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it also involves a good amount of love
Mm-hmm.
for people. So yeah, that aspect of me is always the same on stage because it's me, and I want to be as authentic as possible. So I've actually really challenged myself and gotten out of that because growing up, we were told there was a certain way you performed.
Mm-hmm.
You stand up straight, you smile, you walk on stage, head level, and all that stuff, and it was good because that was the foundation of teaching us, performance stuff. But sometimes I may not need to put on a full tux and walk
Mm-hmm.
out in this posture. It may not require all that. Sometimes I
Mm-hmm.
can hop on stage and just start talking and go right into a song or something like that. So
Mm-hmm.
um, being on stage is or singing, um, I'm always myself. Yeah, I've always challenged myself to be myself, especially in the music, because that's when the magic happens. When you're not up there faking that thing, that's when the magic happens.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Do, do you think people can still be authentic and have the different personas on stage and
I do, because performance requires that. You know, um, entertainment requires that. So I do think the persona changes, especially with the level of performance it is. So if I'm going out acting, of course I'm gonna change because I'm a whole different character. And that character is not me. And or if I'm performing, some song that has a lot of choreography in it. There's a level of performance that you meet on stage that you enhance about yourself, but the foundation and moral essence of who you are when you take stage, hopefully that's still present.
mm-hmm.
um, but it in different situations require you to put yourself on the back burner, as far as getting into the performance mode. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
It does. It
Okay,
definitely
I
does.
hope it makes sense because it makes sense
Now,
in my head.
so with the personas, okay, so you can have a different persona, like you said, different song may call for something different.
Yeah,
Does that still mean that okay, let me say this. Does a different persona mean a different you?
no, no, no,
Okay.
no, Not at all. You are you on stage at all times,
Hmm.
but each performance requires a different side of you, a different. Uh,
Okay.
so, like I said, it requires a different talent. If I'm on stage as a singer, I have a little more freedom to be myself because it's more me. The songs that I've chosen are me. The
Hmm.
songs that I've prepared or I've written, they're me. But if I'm in a different setting where I'm just a background dancer or performing covers
Okay,
or
dancer. Oh,
or just in a whole nother character like in a musical, then that requires a different level or different
right.
style of
Definitely.
performance. And so that's when you change but it's all the performance. It's the performance that you need for the specific
Hmm.
performance. But you hopefully, when you walk into the room or walk into the stage, people are seeing or people know that this is you. You're the performer. You are. I'm sorry, there's a motorcycle happening.
We don't hear it very well.
You don't hear it. Okay,
No,
great.
it's not loud.
It's
No.
blasting my ear off. Uh, that's good. But no, when you're on stage in different performances, this requires a different level of performance based on whatever performance it is.
Hmm.
But your moral essence, hopefully, it travels with you no matter what.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. And do you feel it's the same with alter egos? What do you think about that?
I don't know about alter egos. I don't really get why they are, and I know it's probably classified with how I just explained it. People
Right.
getting into the performance character of what they need to do, and so I guess maybe people try to use that as a way to separate who they are from who they become on stage.
Mm-hmm.
So I get it. I definitely understand it, but I'm not. I don't think it's never been for me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
not. Yeah, it's just never been for me. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. That definitely makes sense. And I like what you said about the different personas. Yes, a different song may call for something different.
Hmm.
Um, just like acting on a stage, a different character.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Has there ever been a moment to where um, there's something that you were hoping for on stage to happen and it didn't necessarily happen the way you planned? And how did you work through that?
Mm. A few times I didn't get the response from the audience that I was hoping for, whether
Okay.
it was whether if it's in church for them to fully go in based on what you've done, or
Mhm.
if it's a secular gig for them to get up and dance with you and dance to the music.
Right.
So those moments do happen, and it just is what it is.
Mhm.
But the more season you get, you tend to not worry about it,
Mhm.
because especially if you've tried hard to create a moment,
Mhm.
and you know that you put your all into it. Some places, some crowds are just dead.
Mhm.
It
Yes.
really has nothing to do with you. And so you can either depending on the situation, you can either go back to the drawing board and try something
Right.
different, or
Mhm.
you can just take it with a grain of salt and realize that okay, this maybe they received it differently.
Mhm.
Maybe maybe it was more of a let me sit in awe as opposed to let me groove with you type moment.
Mhm.
I don't know, but I
Right.
definitely don't take them too personally in this stage of my careers. But when I was younger, I definitely remember feeling like I didn't do a good job because I didn't get a standing ovation, or I didn't, hear the crowd cheering while I was singing, or stuff like
Mhm.
that. Those
Mhm.
moments when I was younger really discouraged me. But as I've gotten older, and experienced life a little bit, I realized that some people just receive differently.
Yeah.
Some people just receive differently, and that's okay. So yeah.
Mhm. Was that something that you just kind of learned through time, like you said, your experience and everything, or was that
Yeah,
just telling you that?
through time I did. I spent a lot of time with that situation, those situations specifically. I spent a lot of time beating myself up, but also learning to give myself grace, over
Mhm.
the years, and just realizing that, hey, you did well. Someone
Mhm.
once said you're never as good as you think you are, but you're never as bad as they say you are, or something like that. I think that's the quote.
Mm.
And so hearing that, I remember saying, okay, hey, everybody is not going to like what I have, or they may not feel it the same way I feel it, but that's okay. As long as I've put forth my best, it's all good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
And deep down, we know when we've given our best.
Mhm.
We know that, and if you truly have, then hey, that's all you can do. Those who
Mhm.
will get it will get it.
Mhm. Yep. Exactly. Was there a moment that kind of clicked there for you?
Um, I think a moment in college,
Okay.
um, and having these type of conversations with
Mhm.
friends,
Mhm.
hearing some of them be so bold or confident, and or just sure
Mhm.
that everything's not going to be perfect and everything's not going to work out how we want it to work out, or everyone's not going to like your voice, or what you bring specifically. But it doesn't mean that you're not good enough or that you're not supposed to be doing it. It just means that they're just not the right people for you, and that there are enough people in this world for you.
Mhm.
I believe we're all meant to touch a certain amount of people. Some it's millions, others it's a couple hundreds, others it's two or three, but regardless of that, you keep going,
Mhm.
keep doing it. Especially
Yeah.
if you love it and you're called to do it and you've got the talent, keep doing it. Your people will find you.
Yes. Totally agree with that. Yeah. And now with confidence, because we're all about confidence. Um, why do you think it's important, and why do you think it's just a challenging thing for many people?
Um, Specifically for me, I know back then, it was based on confidence is something that you learn. I believe, you know, um, and it starts at a younger age when it's instilled in you to be yourself, or by the affirmations that you get growing up, from the people who are around you, who raise you. And as we've gotten older, and society has changed tremendously, with the inclusion of social media, we got into this space of comparison, and we've learned that this is good and this is not good,
Mm,
or many people like this, so this is obviously the right one, but only a little people like this, so you can't be this. And then we begin to compare based on what we think is popular,
mhm,
um, and therefore we disregard what we have, our own talents, our own gifts, based on what society has said or deemed is good and quote unquote right, or the best. And so we begin to compare ourselves to things and to people who, and oftentimes unrealistically, um, the comparison is like, dude, you'll never be Beyonce. Stop. You're like, come on now, you're not her. So these unrealistic comparisons
okay.
cause us to think less about ourselves,
Right.
and thus it creates this mindset that we're not good enough, or we can't do it, or what we have to offer is not it, or is
Mhm,
not good enough, or is not what the people want. And so it hits at our confidence to the point where some of us allow it to take over us completely, to where we're not even doing it at all, you know.
mhm,
And that's when it really becomes a problem for you, because if you don't have a confidence enough to just try to do it, this lane probably isn't for you.
mhm,
Um, being a performer, it's all subjective, and so you're going to hear all the critics, all the criticism, the best and the worst, and so you're going to have to muster up some confidence to keep going even in the worst of times.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's not an overnight process though. It's something that you have to wake up and decide each day.
Hmm.
You have to wake up and decide it in the moment. um, Surely when you get on stage, you have to decide how you're going to be when you walk out on the stage. You're going to be confident, or you're going to be defeated. Because if you're going to be defeated, you might not even just, you might as well go back home. But get on that stage and even shit, fake it if you have to get to where you need to
Hmm.
be.
Okay.
But you have to at least try to put it on.
Hmm.
Easier said than done, honestly.
Why do you think it's so challenging?
Um, like I said, for people, it's challenging because they're a lot of people are aiming for something that they're not. You know,
Mm.
we look at our own gifts and talents and we have this, but we see something over there and it's, oh, this is
Mm.
great. Why can't I sound like that? Or why can't I be like that?
So
I
true.
want to do like that. But it's like, no, listen, what you have is unique. What you have is yours, and nobody else on the face of this earth, on this face of this earth, has what you have. And so relish in that, and that's where my foundation of confidence stemmed from,
Mm-hmm.
after college. Because like Tev, nobody's got what you got. Nobody can do what you do it, like you do it, how you do it. Tons of other male singers out here. We can all hit some of the same notes. We can all do some of the same runs. We can all sing some of the same songs,
Hmm.
but nobody's gonna do it like me.
Hmm.
Nobody's gonna do it like you do it. And
Hmm.
so, like I said, when you do you, the right people will get to where you need to be, and take joy in that. Take joy and assurance in that nobody else sounds like you, and that what you have is good enough. Especially if it's a God given talent and gift, and you can really do that thing. Yeah, do that thing.
Hmm. That's so good.
Am I
Yeah.
am I preaching a little bit? Ooh, am I giving? I wonder, is anybody doing like this? Where,
That'll preach. That'll preach.
ooh,
Yeah. No, that's so good. I mean, it's so true. And what you mentioned about, just being willing to even try. Like that's like my soapbox. Like you gotta just try first.
yeah,
Just try and see, see what happens, and you might surprise yourself. So
maybe
or maybe not, huh?
you might surprise yourself back onto that couch. Maybe performance isn't for you.
Oh, but if we think about our first time performing on the stage, I know for me that was, and not even like, okay, I think it's pretty easy to sing with a choir or ensemble or something like, or a group or something like that. Like as a kid, I was never afraid of that. But I remember my very first time singing by myself. It was, I'm not gonna say it was a catastrophe, but it was close to it. I mean, just the nerves and everything. So, even if you try your first time, it may not go as planned. Like we said, you could surprise yourself, but maybe not. But that doesn't mean to stop. Try a few times. You got to try and really see if it could work.
Hmm.
Yeah, the first time may not always be it. But it could be, but it might not be. So keep trying and then,
Yeah,
see what
keep
happens.
trying.
Yeah, yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much, Tevin.
Oh,
So
Leah, this is
where
great.
where can the actually before we get to that, one last bit of advice. I mean, you've been giving advice the whole show, so
Have I?
thank you for that. But give us one more quick little nugget.
One little nugget.
Mhm.
Let's see, one little nugget. One little nugget is that every gift that we all have as performers, um, artists, whatever you want to call us, singers, we all have a very special and unique talent. And we've been given these things so freely and graciously from our Father God. Um, and it's important that we use them. We use them while we can. And it's important that we allow Him to move through us using our gifts and to believe that your gift matters to someone, and someone is really waiting on what it is that you and you alone bring to the table. So show up and show up well, show up in excellence, show up so dope that can't nobody tell you that it was bad. To show up.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Awesome.
Yeah,
Yes.
had a little moment, a little profound moment. Ooh, okay.
Yes, beautiful, beautiful. Where can the people find you,
They can
Tevin?
find me here on Instagram at Tevin
Mhm.
Price. I need to get way better at social media, but I will, especially because I plan to be releasing some art first very soon, and
All right.
yeah. You'll trust me. You'll know. I'm gonna make a big deal about it.
Very good.
But yeah, find me here on Instagram at Tevin Price, or on
Mhm.
Twitter at Tevin Price, and just stay connected and be patient with me. Cause I'm an artist and I'm sensitive about my shit, Leah. Okay.
We're all sensitive. We all have confidence, but that doesn't mean we're not human. We all
Yeah,
feel
definitely,
the feeling.
definitely,
Of
definitely.
course. Of course. Of course. Good. Y'all definitely tap in with Tevin Campbell. I'm just kidding. Tevin
Mm,
Price.
wow.
And support, follow, and all of that jazz. And thank you, Tevin, so much for joining
Thank
us.
you for having me, Leah.
Of
Leah.
course.
Leah. Thank you for having me.
Of course. And we will see you guys next Monday for another chat with friends. And yeah, it's been real. See you guys. Yeah, the
I did
fan.
it. I did it just for you.
I forgot about the fan. Yes, introducing the fan.
Bye, Leah.
See you guys.